Hello, operating engineers. How you guys doing today? Good. Well, I know it's been a few days of really good work, and I'm the thing that prevents you from getting home to see your families out across the country. So I'm really appreciative of the opportunity to be here to share some reflections with you all. Je veux d'abord évidemment remercier le ministre McKinnon, Steve, pour cette belle introduction, et surtout merci d'avoir entrepris avec brio un énorme défi, pas juste pour ta job, mais pour le pays, dès ton arrivée en travail en tant que ministre du Travail. Un grand merci aussi à Brian Cochrane et Patrick Campbell pour l'invitation à prendre la parole ici aujourd'hui avec vous. And it's also great to be here with my fellow parliamentarians, my Manitoba colleagues, Ben Carr, Dan Van Dahl, Kevin Lamoureux, and Terry Duguid, part of a great team we have here in Manitoba, working with a progressive government in Manitoba to make things happen for people across this province and indeed set the path across the country. But before I begin, I do want to discuss our government's actions to resolve the rail dispute. Our government fundamentally believes, and you all know this, that the best deals are always found at the table. That's why former Minister Seamus O'Regan and Minister Steve McKinnon pushed all the parties for months to negotiate, to reach a deal that keeps goods moving on our rails and addresses the serious safety concerns raised by Teamsters Canada. Unfortunately, CN and CPKC took the deeply unhelpful decision last Thursday to lock out employees after talks reached an impasse. That came with a cost of over $1 billion of shipments per day, while, as you all know, putting at risk thousands of jobs across the country, including union jobs. And it raised serious public safety concerns, with everything from propane for remote hospitals to chlorine for safe drinking water being transported on our rails. As a result, we reluctantly took the decision to request binding arbitration to resolve this dispute. To be clear, this is not the outcome we wanted to see. If it wasn't obvious to every Canadian already, Canadian rail workers do a vital job, and they deserve to work in safety and in dignity. And as Steve just said, we will be looking at every possible immediate and long-term solution to address the worker safety issues raised by the Teamsters Union and ultimately to make our rail system work better. And during our Q&A after, I'll be happy to discuss this and take any of your questions to address further questions you may have, because it's a big thing, an important thing, and you know, for all the years we've worked together, that having a strong, open relationship that engages, frankly, with unions is core to this government's success and to Canada's success. See, since we first formed a Liberal government back in 2015, we've always made one thing clear. Strengthening the middle class would always be our guiding principle, our North Star, the central objective to everything we would do. On a gardé le cap en se basant sur ce principe, et on a réalisé de grands projets et de grands progrès. Mais on n'aurait pas pu l'accomplir sans vous, le mouvement syndical canadien. As you all well know, a strong middle class doesn't happen by accident. The 8-hour workday, weekends off, safe and healthy workplaces, protections against arbitrary dismissal, good-paying, fulfilling, community-building work, none of these workplace protections and rights were given. None of them were automatic, and none of them were inevitable. They were hard-fought and won, and they were won by unions. But that's not all. Unions have also been at the forefront in shaping the programs and services that make Canada, Canada. From universal health care to old age security to parental benefits, unions have proven that they don't just build the roads, bridges, transit that Canadians need and rely on every single day. And yes, pipelines like TMX, which operating engineers like all of you built. Thank you, by the way, again and again. Unions have proven that they build the middle class. And you've stood by us every step of the way to build a middle class that's even stronger. Now, from even before when we formed government, You've pointed out there is lots of work to be done. So we responded. In fact, 9 years ago yesterday, during the 2015 campaign at your local 793 in Oakville, actually, Mike Gallagher, are you here? There you are. You remember that day, Mike? It was the end of August, 2015 campaign. I'll like you to not remember how I got that crane swinging like nobody's business. But we made an announcement. We made a promise of a historic doubling of federal infrastructure spending to build this country. That was the commitment we made to you and to Canadians, that we were going to get building again. After years of Harper underinvestment, years of Harper cuts and austerity. And you know better than most that we've delivered on that promise and a whole lot more. On a instauré l'allocation canadienne pour enfants afin de réduire la pauvreté de la moitié et de mettre plus d'argent dans les poches des familles. On a créé des services de garde à 10 $ par jour qui génèrent déjà des économies jusqu'à 14 000 $ par an pour des familles. On met sur pied un programme national d'alimentation scolaire qui va permettre de mieux nourrir vos enfants et de réduire vos factures d'épicerie. We're pushing ahead on national pharmacare, making insulin free for every Canadian who needs it, and providing free prescription contraceptives because we not only believe in a woman's right to choose, we act on it. As of last week, our Canadian dental care plan has already helped over 500,000 previously uninsured Canadians get the dental services and dental care they deserve. And we've been able to do all this because we've been responsible with taxpayer dollars, delivering the lowest deficit amongst advanced industrialized nations and the lowest net government debt in the G7. These are important victories for Canadians, for the middle class, for working people. And they were made possible by all of you. But union leaders, like all of you here today, also know that these programs can be cut, protections unraveled, and progress undone. Et vous savez qu'il y a toujours eu un parti pour pousser cette austérité, le Parti conservateur du Canada. I don't need to remind you of the Harper years. You know that those were dark days, and you know that we can't afford to go back. Unfortunately, that's what Pierre Poilievre's Conservatives are proposing. And Mr. Poilievre likes to pretend he has the backs of workers, but I know you're not buying it. You know his record, and you know what he stands for. More precisely, what he has stood for and stood against in all his 20 years as an MP. Poilievre and his colleagues passed Bill 377, a law that piled on the red tape to stifle unions and bury them in bureaucracy. Pierre Poilievre a voté pour 525, une loi qui a truqué le jeu à l'avantage des entreprises en obligeant les syndicats à divulguer leurs finances privées. And taking a page from the American far-right playbook, he's called for right-to-work laws. Laws which may have a nice-sounding name, but you know what they actually do. Starve unions of the resources you need to deliver higher wages and better protections in the workplace. That's what Poilievre thinks of unions. That's what he thinks of you. Mais ça, c'est du passé. Il dit que maintenant, il est aux côtés des travailleurs. Il affirme d'être un homme transformé. Ben, OK, regardons les faits. Qu'il s'agisse de soins dentaires, de repas gratuits à l'école, de l'assurance médicaments ou des services de garde, il a voté contre chacun de ces programmes qu'on a mis en place pour aider les travailleurs à mieux s'en sortir. Et si jamais il prend le pouvoir, il va les éliminer. Pierre Poilievre used you for photo ops to pretend he's a friend to working people. But the truth is, he's a phony. He thinks you're all suckers. But above all, he's scared of you. Like every